Victoria Falls in southern Africa is one of the largest sheets of falling water in the world. It is rightly regarded as a natural wonder. Not far from Victoria Falls in southern Zambia, a spiritual wonder is taking place. In Kolomo, a small congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses is building a place of worship. It is being built by a local, all-volunteer workforce. But the project is mostly coordinated, financed, and arranged by their fellow worshippers from around the world. How did this come to be? And how are Jehovah's Witnesses meeting the need for places of worship in lands where the finances are limited and the needs are great? The fact that kingdom halls are needed has become increasingly evident. For example, in Eastern Europe, brothers attending meetings in drafty, poorly heated halls sometimes insulated themselves against the cold by putting hot water bottles inside their clothing.
And the brothers who were on the stage giving parts were wearing coats and hats. Their fingers would get so cold that it would be very difficult for them to turn pages in the Bible.
In the summer, it was very, very hot, sometimes impossible to cope with. And in the winter, it was very cold. Although it was heated a little, it was very cold.
What was difficult was the fact that there was not enough ventilation. Some sisters felt sick. Their blood pressure would go up. They had to go outside.
There wasn't room. Half of us were in the Kingdom Hall and half were out. That's how it was.
In Africa, some meeting locations had hardly any structure at all. If a structure did exist, it was often too poorly built to keep out the rain during a meeting.
The old Kingdom Hall was made only of planks. When rain started, water usually flooded the house. As a result, it became difficult to hear what the speaker said from the platform.
In spite of our efforts, termites always destroy the old building. Every year, rainstorms destroy the roof and give us the extra work of repairing it.
Our former Kingdom Hall was made of planks, and this used to embarrass us.
Or in South America, the meeting places were often far too small for those attending. The Cono Norte congregation in Peru met in a garage for almost 4 years, crowding up to 110 people in for the memorial.
We had only one bathroom, and sometimes there was no water. Also, sometimes we would meet without lights because there was no electricity.
The hall is really too small. Each day it seems smaller. We're making the effort to cover and fix the roof because the rain is coming and we are going to get wet.
We used to have to put wood benches everywhere, in the bathrooms, in the garage. We could see only through a small window, so we could not benefit fully from the program.
In most cases, the local brothers have little funding available to do anything about these difficulties. But the need is made even more critical because the growth of Jehovah's Witnesses in these lands is more rapid in comparison to other parts of the world. In a large number of developing lands during the decade of the 1990s, the number of Jehovah's Witnesses increased by 83%. This is more than 4 times the growth in the rest of the world. Adding to this, the dissolution of the former Soviet Union has made it legally possible to have kingdom halls in 20 additional countries. All these factors combined to create a growing need in locations that were hard-pressed to meet the demand. In response, in 1997, the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses gave direction to develop a construction program for countries in need of assistance. Called Kingdom Hall Construction in Lands with Limited Resources, it was given the mandate to provide, where possible, an adequate place of worship for all of those interested in Bible education. The program divided the world into 5 regions of need. In each of these, a regional Kingdom Hall office was set up to coordinate and assist the design and construction unique to that region. Mexico directs the work for Central America and the Caribbean, Brazil for South America, Germany for Eastern Europe and Russia, South Africa for the African continent, and Australia for the Pacific Islands and Asia. In total, there are some 60 branch offices involved, affecting over 100 countries. Under this regional direction, each country's branch office then sets up local construction teams. When the new construction program began in 1999, the need for Kingdom Halls in these places was estimated in the thousands. From the outset, the architects and engineers knew that simplified designs and construction methods would be desirable for building many halls in a short time.
If they need engineering, we ask them to do that locally so that a local engineer is familiar with what's needed. Then it's quite important that they build with local materials. We don't want to import things that we don't have to into these countries.
Today, the Kingdom Halls have a simpler layout and architecture. With that, we ended up economizing. The truth is that sometimes the brothers spent a lot of time on the decorative details, also a lot of money. And without those details, it got simpler. We save money, time, and the brothers' work.
The advantage that we have in simplifying the halls is speed, and that helps the brothers to maintain their hall easily without many things, because we use local materials which are not too difficult to find in our surroundings.
Each country in the program has a few basic types of Kingdom Halls from which to choose. The differences between the designs are mostly based on whether the hall will be in an urban or a rural setting. Buildings are simplified in a variety of ways. In some rural halls, skylights provide lighting for the almost exclusively daytime meetings. In Africa, breeze blocks are used instead of windows, cutting expense and maintenance. The local congregations can request a hall under the program, but they must meet certain requirements. In general, they need at least 30 members, along with at least one elder. Although the congregations are made up of those with little means, they are asked to commit at least a modest amount of their own money to the project.
They pass a resolution to make a monthly contribution back to the fund depending on their ability. So they are, over a long period of time, making a contribution to the fund, but simply wouldn't have enough money to build the building initially.
In rural Africa, obtaining land for a hall is often much easier than in urban areas.
First of all, they go to a headman of the village where that property is. Then they acquire a letter from the headman. Then they take that letter to the chief. Then a chief writes a letter and stamp it. That's enough for acquiring that property where to build a Kingdom Hall.
But you don't ever have to worry about losing that piece of ground, because everybody recognizes that he has the right to give you that piece of ground, and nobody will ever argue with it.
If their request is approved, the local congregation busies itself with making or gathering the necessary building materials. For a typical East African Kingdom Hall, it means mixing, molding, and baking approximately 35,000 bricks. The congregations gather the sand and break the stones used to make concrete. In East Africa, selecting a color for the Kingdom Hall is largely determined by the color of the soil that goes into the bricks. An outstanding example of preparation work was that of the Musunje Iwi congregation on Lake Malawi. All the materials had to be brought in by boat and carried by hand to the hilltop where the hall was to be built. After about 300 different trips, the 12 tons of building materials was moved more than 1,000 feet up the mountain. Around the world, once supplies are gathered, work on the foundation begins. Another big job for the local congregation is to provide food for all the workers. Construction servants, appointed by the branch office, arrive on site. These brothers oversee the project and also provide skills and tools needed for the build. Depending on the arrangement, from 3 to 6 Kingdom Hall construction servants will be assigned to a project. Generally, these, along with their wives, will live in the homes of members of the local congregation. The Kingdom Hall construction servants attend meetings and also preach in the local territory for the duration of the project. The local congregation and the construction team both benefit from this association.
We aren't just builders, we are friends and brothers. That is to say, being occupied with spiritual activities. We see beyond rocks and concrete. We understand that spirituality and a good relationship with the brothers are more important.
Along with the local congregation, we contribute by fulfilling assignments. In that way, the local congregation becomes our congregation. I usually say that visiting the construction groups is the aspect of the work that I enjoy the most, because the friends are always happy. It is hard work, under the hot sun, even rain at times. But they are always, always very happy. You can feel that they have Jehovah's Spirit.
In addition to Kingdom Hall construction servants, the branch office appoints spiritually qualified local volunteers to assist the congregation's workforce. The construction servants take the lead on site for the daily morning worship program. The consideration of a biblical text helps remind everyone that spiritual matters have priority. As the work unfolds, the servants give oversight to the local volunteers, making sure that the work is of good quality and is done safely. Because of this, a major part of their assignment is training. This training provides practical, long-lasting benefits for everyone.
I had no experience in pouring concrete. I didn't know how to lay blocks, how to put on a roof, or even how to take off a roof. I had no construction skills before I came.
One of the trades that I learned is how to make bricks. I didn't know anything about this before because I was a farmer. But I do have that skill now, and I can make bricks perfectly. Apart from that, I also know how to lay bricks and erect a structure. These are some of the things that I learned during the construction project, and now I'm very happy.
But even when they leave the program, they become self-reliant because the skills that they acquire, they use them in their lives to support themselves.
While the practical training benefits all, everyone realizes that spiritual blessings are more valuable than job skills. The gift of a caring brotherhood is without price.
It really is amazing to see. It's something that we just used to hear of, maybe in yearbooks, and sometimes when you deliver a talk, you talk to brothers about the worldwide brotherhood. They seem not to see it, but right now they are seeing it. They can feel it. Seeing people from different parts of Zambia who speak different languages, but they come together for a same common goal. It really is a dream come true.
It is helping a lot. You see brothers and sisters coming from other places to help the congregation with love, with pleasure, and with joy. Making a house of worship to Jehovah God? Who would not like that? That is a pleasure for us.
It is truly wonderful to be able to see the joy, the thrill of the brothers who are at times meeting in such difficult places, not having enough seats, many times standing up, or sometimes it even rains inside the Kingdom Hall. And when they see the new hall, the joy, the thrill, people crying, for us, it feels like we also belong to that congregation. That is the greatest, one of the greatest joys.
Jehovah's Witnesses have a reputation for building halls quickly. In developed lands, witnesses can complete a hall with electricity, plumbing, and finishes in as little as 2 or 3 weekends. Speed is not the primary goal of this program, however. The main concerns are quality and affordability. Nevertheless, the program has greatly improved the speed of Kingdom Hall construction to meet the growing needs of the congregations.
Before the program, it took up to 8 months to finish a Kingdom Hall. Now with the structure that the organization has set up, we can complete a Kingdom Hall in 6 to 8 weeks. Now the construction is faster. We work only a few weeks, 2, 4 weeks, and we finish the Kingdom Hall. And the brothers are happy that in the space of just a few weeks, they can attend meetings in their own Kingdom Hall.
In villages, everyone knows that the Kingdom Hall is being built, and they ask us many questions. And it's nice to know that people are amazed by the construction. In service they ask us, "So, do you think you'll finish before winter comes?" But when we say to them that we will finish by the end of this month, they cannot believe it.
Take, for example, the Aruquias congregation in Ecuador. By means of time-lapse photography, you will see 7 weeks of work in just a few seconds. This made a great deal of hard work look relatively simple. In reality, all the projects involve examples of self-sacrifice and an eager willingness to help.
Then you get to feel happy, to feel enthused. The work is hard, that is true, but it is rewarding, because in about 25 days, we will be praising Jehovah in a new Kingdom Hall, a dignified place of worship to Him.
It's terrific, exciting, and a blessing at the same time, because looking at the program itself, it's like a Bible study. You find somebody, you teach that somebody, dedicate himself until he's baptized. And that is how I feel, starting from the foundation until we finish the project. It is such a blessing.
When the project is finally complete, the joy of the first meeting has arrived.
At this time, it is our pleasure to dedicate this Kingdom Hall to our happy God, Jehovah.
¿No creen ustedes que debemos expresar nuestro agradecimiento a Jehová, quien ha hecho posible que tengamos este nuevo salón del reino hermoso y bonito?
А сейчас, дорогие братья и сестры, мы со всей уверенностью можем сказать, этот прекрасный зал царства посвящен Иегове.
Now, more than just a place of sufficient size and comfort, the new Kingdom Hall provides real benefits to the local congregation and its efforts to advance Bible education.
In certain congregations, when they invited interested ones to the meetings, given the places where they met before, these interested ones would not come. But immediately after the dedication, we see that these people, who are perhaps weak, begin to arrive, and in a few months only, the hall is full of these interested ones.
What makes us happy is that once it was done, these neighbors who were worried before told us that they were even grateful because it changed the look of the street. And today our Kingdom Hall is a point of reference. Where do you live? I live near the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Well, it's a big difference because this hall is spacious, cozy, and very comfortable in many respects. Many more people can be accommodated than in the old hall. And it's also wonderful that this is a witness for other people. We can invite them, and the people know where our Kingdom Hall is.
Just from watching, the neighbors have already requested 4 Bible studies.
There is increase now. Those who had 1 Bible study in the past have up to 6 now. And those who had 2 in the past conduct up to 7 now. Meeting attendance has increased greatly.
There are many benefits, but I'll mention only one. Many now join us for the meetings. There's been a great increase, even to the extent that 2 congregations have been formed.
The spirituality of the congregation is now better than ever. We note that many have been moved to enroll as auxiliary and regular pioneers, and meeting attendance has really increased.
Local observers have also taken an interest in the program. For example, at one build in Ecuador, a local teacher brought her elementary school class to tour the site. In other lands, non-witness construction experts have recognized the unique accomplishments of this program run entirely by volunteers.
So my opinion, as a specialist in the field of architecture, is very positive. I'm referring to the exterior look of the buildings, the quality of your construction work, the finishes, and the landscaping of the property. The quality of the work of Jehovah's Witnesses volunteers is excellent. Jehovah's Witnesses are obedient to the law. They're very honest and decent people when it comes to obeying laws that govern construction in Ukraine. A very organized group works at the construction site. This has a positive effect on us. We tell ourselves, go, look, and take a lesson from it.
As the program progresses, challenges continue to present themselves. For example, in Eastern Europe, legal complications for obtaining land are growing. It can take as long as 2 years to get approval for a hall that can be built in less than 2 months. Another challenge is maintenance. Throughout all 5 regions, the local brothers receive training to maintain the new halls provided. In addition, circuit overseers are being trained to monitor the condition of the halls. This is vital if the investment in the buildings is to be an enduring one. Where practical, innovations are being made. In Benin, there are a number of kingdom halls that can double as assembly halls. For normal use, the walls are fixed. But the walls can be released and moved out of the way. Revealing an open seating area for use at assemblies. This unique building program will continue into the future. The goal is to fulfill the original mandate, namely, that where possible, all of Jehovah's Witnesses will meet in a good quality kingdom hall. And how has the program progressed since it began in late 1999? As of June 1st, 2005, a total of 11,560 Kingdom Halls have been built, an average of 40 every week during that 5.5-year period. Throughout the 5 regions, the current estimate for future construction shows a need for more than 13,000 additional halls. To make this possible, it will call for continuing sacrifice by willing workers and those who generously donate funds. The results thus far suggest that the future for this unique program is a bright one.
In line with the scriptures, we are all having an equalizing because of the brothers that are making it possible for us to have Kingdom Hall that we can use for worship.
We are grateful to the Worldwide Brotherhood that we can use such a hall and study in such conditions, where there's a sound system and appropriate heating and light to see.
We are all joyful. We have a hall that is worthy of praise to Jehovah and worthy of His name.
We were meeting under ban, in forests or behind closed doors. What Jehovah gave us, I could only dream about or hope to see in the new system. But I see it now, our wonderful brotherhood, through which Jehovah gave us such a wonderful hall.
When I see our elderly brothers and sisters who have been waiting for a long time, who have worshipped Jehovah under mango or other trees or in warehouses, and today they have a Kingdom Hall where they praise Jehovah, that gives me joy.
Thank you very much for helping us to build the Kingdom Hall. From my whole soul, from my whole heart. What else can I say? It is a joy that we praise God in such a hall.
I feel close to all the international family of brothers from around the world, since it is thanks to the many brothers and sisters from other lands that we are able to have our lovely hall today.
We realize that on our own we wouldn't have been able to build such a beautiful hall. It is only due to our brothers. Besides many thanks to them and to our God Jehovah, there is nothing else we can say.
I would like to say many things, but I take the opportunity to express our sincere gratitude for all their contributions and to promise that we will use these wisely to praise and glorify Jehovah's name.